Wowzers, we are back live once again. Let me apologize. I know I've been missing in action for a minute, but we are back and we are trying to be steady. I'm moving my stream days from Fridays to Sunday to coincide with the start of the football season. Depending on how y'all feel about it, I'm going to try and do two a days, maybe a pre and a post. But that's neither here or there. Let's get started with the show. And as always, I have guests with me. And today I have a very, very special guest. If anybody knows me and they know me well, they know that I really don't like people too much. I'm personable, I'm polite, but I don't like people. And it's very rare when you can find a person that you really like and a person that you respect to come do what you do, help guide you along. Now, long story short, over at LBHT, I know you keep hearing LBHT crew, but we as a crew, we really do support one another. Like people come out with content, we watch, support, promote, we do it all. And I remember when I first joined, they would always point me in the direction of this one podcast. Now, at first, they would talk about Kanye's stuff that he was doing, and I was like, okay, pretty good, pretty good. Then they talked about what the coach was wearing, and shout out Coach Nataya. But they had one podcast on mental health, and I think that really, really took it over the top for me. And ever since then, I've been a fan of his. He's worked with everybody. He's been on Lunch Break Hot Take many a time. He's one third of the Ring Kings podcast. And let's introduce my man, OTRMike.
Yeah, it's me, everybody. I know y'all were wondering who it was. It's me. Hendo, listen, man, I appreciate that. The intro. I didn't know you didn't like people though. So I take, that's a compliment that I'm here because, I didn't know you were like that. It's not, you're right. It's not easy to when you don't like people, it's not easy to be around people.
I'm a Capricorn through and through. I mean, and it's sad because in my job, I go to people's houses every day, all day,
Uh-huh.
and you got to talk to them, especially where they're most comfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when they let them true selves show. And it's just like you got to fake it all day long. And I'm just like, I get in the house, I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to be around people. Even going to the training camp yesterday, I was like, I don't want to go to this training camp. It's people gonna be there. I hate it, but I wanted my son to have an actual good experience. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying.
That's what it's about. I get it. I get it. I mean, you know what? Believe it or not, I like people, but I like the people that I'm close with. Right? I'm not the. My wife will tell you the opposite. She'll say, "Oh, you're the one that goes out. You talk to people random." I'm like, "Yeah, but I gotta feel a vibe first, right?
Right.
If I get a good vibe, then I'm like, okay, yeah, I can have a conversation with this person." But I'm similar to that. I'm a homebody. I don't have to be out and about. That's my wife. If I'm out, she's dragging me. Other than that, I'm cool in the house. I can do everything I need to do here. You know what I mean? So I feel you on that.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's see who we got up in here. We got, of course, the lunch break hot take. I don't understand how people didn't know who it was. Like your picture was literally
Oh,
on
hold
it.
on. Why do I always do that? Yeah, that.
What's that? What are you doing? Oh,
That's
point the
good.
wrong direction.
Yeah.
We got
Those
lunch
guys.
break in the house. My man Brodney's here. Of
Oh, hey,
course,
B.
Dave on. Yes, indeed, sir. See, LBHT, like we run as a crew. Like we always supporting each other. What's going on, Darius? Thought I saw who else is in here? Coach Evans. How you doing, Coach? Thank you for joining us here today on this live. Oh man.
OTR Brandon in here talking about the Giants.
OTR Brandon, what's up, man? Like we don't have much interaction, but I know you a big Giants fan. I hope y'all do a little bit better this year. Not against us. Maybe go 5-12. Get yourself a new quarterback and
Five
keep
and
it
two.
popping. And keep it popping. So, like I said, yesterday I was at the Ravens training camp, And shout out to my man Engraven. He was there. My son wanted to meet you, but I don't like bothering people, so I'm not gonna ask anybody for anything. I just let people be. But next time, hopefully we can link up. Get some pictures, do some things. Um, but let's just jump right into it. So literally, Mr. Mike, we're just gonna go through some questions, go through some things. I would like to know how you feel about the Ravens training camp so far.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
just at the bank, just from the things that you've seen. For me personally, it was a little bit different because this is the first training camp I've been to in like 10, 15 years since it was at McDaniel College.
Right.
And it's different from, because I watched it on YouTube, it's different from what they show on TV to what you see inside the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Because my sensories were everywhere, because it's like, okay, plays going here, plays going there. So I kind of saw everything. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on what you've seen about this team through training camp.
You know what? So far, I mean, it's not really anything that's unexpected to me right now. Like I expected Lamar to come in and look good, like they're promoting. Like it bothers me how they put it out there. Like you don't hear this about any starting quarterback, any former MVP. Like it's every week, every day. It's Lamar looked good, or he's throwing the ball better than he's ever thrown the ball. I expected that, right?
Right.
And so other than that, man, like it's nothing that's really going on that I'm surprised at, or nothing that happened unexpectedly. Now, one thing, it's still early, right? But one thing at this point in time, you usually hear a name or an unexpected name, right? That's making noise, especially out of the wide receiver position, right? Like
Mhm.
usually it's an undrafted guy that they bring in and they hear, oh, this guy's doing this, this guy's doing that. Haven't
So
really heard that, so I'm kind of like, okay, I'm looking for that guy, just because I feel like it's a lot of opportunity within that position group for somebody, to make some noise. So other than that, man, it's early for me. It's what's to be expected. I just want everybody to be healthy. I don't need anything. First day I think it was for Tampa Bay. I saw Ryan Jensen go down, and I was just like, oh Lord, like we just don't need any of that right now. It's after last year, I don't want to see any of that. So just get out of this healthy, and then do the real thing.
yeah, it was a little scary for me because I was sitting right there and I was recording, and right in front of me, Duvernay went down. And when he went down, he stayed on his knees for about 5 minutes. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh Lord, here we go again. Like
Hmm.
we just can't catch a break. So hopefully he's doing well. I mean, I heard it was just a thigh bruise or something,
Hmm.
but the Ravens tend to lie when it
Yeah,
comes
you
to
can't trust nothing they say with
when
injuries.
it comes to injuries. Yes. So as far as me in training camp, some of the surprises like Daniel Faalele, that's a
Mhm.
big dude. Uh,
He, that's a big human, and it,
that
it it's not to cut you off, but
Please do.
that may be one thing, right? Because they had talked about him doing the mini camps, how he couldn't finish a practice.
Mhm.
So him to come in and pass the conditioning test, and then we got our guy Ben Cleveland who's on his fourth day. Um,
Right.
so that was a pleasant surprise. He did to me look like he came in a little slimmer than he did during mini camp or whatever. So that was a good thing to see.
He was slimmer, but his conditioning wasn't up to par. Like you could see, he was like, "Look, I'm gassed.
Hmm.
Like I can't." So hopefully he gets it together, and that's why before I projected him to be kind of a project and not expecting too much from him early on. He's just getting his feet wet.
Hmm.
But he'll do fine. Some other surprises for me at camp: Dalen Hayes. I expect a big year from Dalen Hayes. He looks smooth. He looked fast. He has that twitch to him, and it's been to get around the corner now. Only thing with him is his health.
Hmm.
If he can stay healthy, um, I hate to say it, but your boy Hill look good too. Like he looked fast. I can't lie. Like I can't lie. The boy looked good. Like he looked fast. And I know it was one practice, but he looked good. Davis looked good. Uh, listen, for all of y'all out there, don't blow the comments up. Don't come at me. But Prochet looked good. Like he looked. I won't say he looked fast because Prochet just doesn't look fast. He Prochet was doing some things, and for the plays that they didn't show on the screen, he beat Hamilton.
Mm.
Like he came up the seam and cut in, and he beat Hamilton. Like he left him, but they just didn't throw him the ball, and that's why that play didn't get shown. So I know people don't like him, and listen, 400 yards for me, I'm good with that from Prochet.
Hey, I mean, listen, if he looked good, that's a good thing, right?
Right.
We like Jose always says, like, yeah, I'm rooting for him. I just I'm just not putting my eggs in that basket to expect it. But
Right.
but
Facts.
it's just, if he looked good, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So now to say here, all right. So here's the thing. We all know that this pretty much was one practice, and I don't know. I saw a lot of things today and some things that I've seen on film. I don't know whether to say that this receiving core is better than expected,
Hmm.
or our secondary is not as good as advertised. Even though I know Seymour, he's not going to make the team. Like I think one of the kids came up from the stands and beat Seymour for 2 touchdowns. I,
He
I
had a
th-
long day.
he had a long day. Oh, now listen. Somebody sent me a video. I'm about to show this video. Somebody sent me a video of who was the dude? Who was the new guy? Gaither. Gaither.
Gaither, yeah.
Gaither beat Hamilton on a touchdown. And when I say he beat him bad, he beat that
Yeah, yeah.
man.
Listen, when you put that in the Discord, and I said, man, like I said, oh, this is not a good start. And he was
Right.
like, man, it's early, and I'm like, I agree, but I'd have felt much better if you'd have said it was like Prochet, not even Prochet, but like if you'd have said Bateman, you know, if you'd have said Mark Andrews, if you'd have said Devin Duvernay,
Right.
I would have felt okay with that, right? Because those guys are more polished. But like we just signed Gaither 2 days ago, and to get beat like that, it's concerning. And I saw the video this morning, and it was bad. It was bad,
He beat him. Yeah.
bad. So like you kind of reeled me back in yesterday when you said Mike is early. I said okay, all right. You know what? I'll take that. I'll take that. It's early. He got a lot to learn, but
Yeah. I mean, he was getting beat a lot. Like he was. But listen, that's our first round pick. I'm a respect it. I don't like it, but I'm a respect it. And I hope he gets better. And actually, at first, like I said, for me, and I told y'all before, I just got people I don't like for no good reason. And Kyle Hamilton was one of them dudes that I didn't like
mhm.
until I started watching his podcast. And I was like, all right, he a pretty cool dude. Like, he a young boy. Let me stop with the nonsense. And I like him, but his hips, he's stiff. Like
Yeah,
I'm not for sure. And they talk about moving him in to play linebacker some. That's concerning to me because you could have gotten a linebacker from anywhere. This is a first round pick.
yeah.
We've already made that mistake once with Queen. We can't continue to keep making this mistake. I'm gonna let that go. Move. Listen, I can go on for days with that. Moving on. So this is speaking of the Devin Duvernay injury and him being down. I wanted to get your thoughts on the receiving core as a whole.
I don't. I don't feel good about it. Um, and again, once you you kind of told us that in the Discord, and then you and I had a conversation about it. it's concerning, right? Now they're saying it's a bone bruise. He from what they said is a bone bruise. He could have went back in yesterday or last night, but
Mhm.
they just held him out for precautionary. Okay, now let's say that for once we can kind of take their word, right? Because we don't try. I can't trust any injury update from the Ravens. So let's just say it is something minor. It made me think, looking ahead to when the season actually starts, right? And we
Right.
go into the season with this wide receiving core as it stands. One of those go down. One of them go down, right? Like the depth behind him and anybody, it's just not there. Like, so if you lose one of them, right? Because you're counting on these guys to have a big year. You're counting on Prochet. You're
Right.
counting on Duvernay. It's looking like Duvernay is got the leg up to be wide receiver 2 right now, right?
Right.
So that's your wide receiver 2 going down, right? Then you got James Prochet, he moves up. Then you got Tyler Wallace, okay, you know, but then after that, like, what's next? It's just I'm just not confident in the group as a whole. I'm not confident that there's enough depth there. If one of those go down, like one of them go down, injuries happen. We know that, right? So
Mhm.
then are we going to be, are we going to be relying on people like Gaither? Like like if they go down, like it's just I I'm not feeling it. I mean, I shared with you, yesterday that I feel like likely is going to be he's going to be a bright spot, and I think he's going to be able to cover up some of the flaws of this group, right? But again, him being a rookie, how much can we count on that, or how long can we count on him covering up for what they're lacking in that wide receiver room? So I don't feel good about this group at all. I'm with everybody else. I hope that they play well, and I hope that they play better than we expect. But Duvernay going down in the practice like that, it just
Mhm.
made me think ahead. Like, oh man, if this was the regular season, and if we have an injury in that room, we are in trouble.
Right.
And then you're looking at going to get somebody off the street, like we did Des Bryant or something like that, and then that doesn't make it better either. So it's just I'm concerned. I am concerned about that wide receiver room, big time.
So this is a problem because you are the optimist of the group. Like you always looking to the bright side, sunny side, and you have a problem with it. That means it's a real problem.
Yeah.
Now, Dave Raven said, "How did Benjamin look?" He looked decent. Like he was pretty good yesterday. Um, he was yelling. It was at the end of practice. I know it was a missed pass to him. The guy overthrew him, and he dug in his ass. So it shows that he's passionate about this, or at least passionate about trying to make this roster. Um, he's a little bit thinner than I thought he was going to be, but he pretty much looked good. So the issue that I have with the receiving core it's a little bit deeper than just can they play, can they sustain a high level throughout the season and into the playoffs. My issue with the wide receiving core is Lamar Jackson, best player on the team. Everybody else surrounding their quarterbacks, good or bad, with the talent to make them better or to see if they're up to par. We don't know how good Lamar can be because we've never given him that buffer around him that he doesn't have to carry everything on his shoulders. Now, my biggest issue is hearing from the spaces, hearing from everybody else. Let these young boys play so we see what we have. And that's fine and dandy, but I thought that's what minicamp, OTAs, training camp is for.
Bingo.
Now, let's say for instance these guys don't hold up this year. They're not up to par. My biggest problem is we wasted another of Lamar's years.
Hmm.
And that's the thing that people don't seem to see, that we're wasting his years trying to figure it out and get it together. We're taking away his prime. We don't know how long we're going to have him because if he stays in Baltimore, they're going to run him in the ground.
Hmm.
And we're going to sit here and say, well, this is only Tyler Wallace's second year starting. Let's see what he does next year. And it's
Right.
not cutting it. Like these dudes have proven that they can make it to the NFL because they got drafted. I take nothing away from that. But let's be real about this situation. How many other teams would any of those three be starting on? How many other teams would they even be number twos on, to be quite
No.
honest with you? But we expect them to come in here and be starters. And everybody likes to say, hey, we don't use wide receivers in Baltimore. So shouldn't we hold somebody accountable for that? Shouldn't we say, listen, either these guys can't play and we can't draft, or these guys can play and we don't have the coaches to maximize their talents. Now, people can talk about Keith Williams and T. Martin all they want to. They can only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
You can only get so much potential out of somebody. And, I'm just tired of wasting Lamar as a whole. I'm tired of the critics coming at him. I'm not an emotional dude. I don't really get angry. I don't really get upset about stuff. But to constantly hear this man's name being brought up in the media every day about he can, he can't, he won't, he will never be. I don't care what he does. It's more than just an assault on quarterbacks. It's
Mm-hmm.
an assault on black men.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it to heart. And our organization isn't bringing that to light. They aren't backing him up. They aren't standing behind him, giving him everything he needs. Now we'll give everything we need to a secondary to stop wide receivers, but we don't stockpile wide receivers. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah, it's two things you said here that are 1,000% correct, right? One thing is, again, it's they don't. I say in the Discord all the time, we have a Ferrari, but we using 87 gas in it, right? We using unleaded, low grade gas, Royal Farms gas. Shout out
Hey,
to Royal Farms,
hey
whatever.
Mike, hey Mike, don't forget me stopping by the dollar store, getting that gas
Yeah,
cleaner, trying to make it stretch.
yeah. Like we like so. What I mean by that is you're not maximizing this man's talent, and you're not putting the talent around him that you need to succeed. Every other quarterback has talent. I don't care. You look at now. It was a list that came out. They ranked the worst wide receiving core. I don't see how we weren't last. I think Chicago. Maybe we might be better than Chicago Bears, but they had us above like
But
Green Bay. I'll take Green Bay's wide receiving group
all day.
over ours 20 times out of 20.
But listen, Chicago has Mooney,
Yeah, yeah,
Pringle. Like they have some proven guys
yeah,
on there. So
yeah. But again, to that point of what you're saying that everybody's saying in the spaces, right? Let these guys get a chance to play. Let them play. Let them play. They're acting like we've had world beaters at wide receivers since Lamar has been here, since we can remember, right?
right.
So Duvernay, Prochet, even Tylen Wallace last year as a rookie, it was plenty of space and opportunity for them to make a name for themselves and to get snaps into play, right?
Mhm.
It hasn't happened. If you can't make a name here, right, or
Right.
force your way into some snaps here, when you got a wide receiving room like we have, like that's a problem. So I think that they've had plenty of time, just like you said. Hey, in camp, training camp, whatever, like that's where you show. Preseason, that's where you show what you can do. And none of them has taken a hold of that opportunity, which is the problem for me. That's the scary part, right?
Right.
They're going to get a chance to play this year, right? But I don't buy that. Give them a chance because they've had time and chances, especially
Mhm.
somebody like Prochet, Duvernay. They've been there a little longer. They've had times. They had that opportunity to take claim of one of those top 2 or 3 spots,
Facts.
and they haven't. So I don't want to hear that. Let them play, right?
Right.
I don't want to hear that. They've had time to do that, and so I mean, but again, I hope that they're able to. Uh, I hope that they're able to take full advantage of what they're about to get.
You're right.
I'm just not convinced. I'm just not confident because I feel like it's one thing, right? If we had Hollywood, right? Let's say we had a legit one or another 1A, 1B with Hollywood and someone else, right?
Right.
And then we had a solid slot receiver, solid 3. right? And then we got Duvernay, and then we had Prochet, and we had Tylen Wallace behind them. And
Yep.
then okay, so Hollywood moves on, right? Then another one of them move on. So then it's like, okay, well, they've been waiting behind these guys. Now it's their turn. It's not, it hasn't been that. They've had opportunities to be in that role and they haven't. So I ain't buying that.
Facts. The coach said, what wide receiver will come here with Roman as the OC?
None.
And to be honest with you, coach, no, to be honest with you, coach, any wide receiver that we trade for,
You got to trade. I
that's
agree
under
with you.
that's under contract. Somebody
Yep.
that's under contract, either they're not going to play and get their money, or they're going to come here and show out. Because I'm still mad that we could have had DeAndre Hopkins for a third round pick. Like, we're just not doing enough to make this the best team that we can. And I don't I man, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna move on because I listen. I could talk about wide receivers all day long. So next topic we're gonna bring up is what do you see as Lamar Jackson's future with the team in the NFL, just everything going forward?
So on the famous lunch break hot take show, just probably 2 weeks ago, I was on there saying, I hope Lamar don't show up. Right. Um, and that's not to upset people that will be in the comments of this. I'm saying this from a standpoint of just treatment, right? Um, he should have been paid, right?
Yep.
And at this point, you see the money that's being thrown around. If he is the franchise quarterback, if he is, the guy that y'all claim he is for you, it should be no question. He should have been paid. No other team has held a contract over their player's head like none of his counterparts. Josh Allen, none of them, they didn't go through this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You're our guy, so we're gonna pay you, right? We're gonna make sure you're here. You know what? It's the market, so we just got to do what we got to do. But we
Yeah.
think that whatever we pay you, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it back tenfold. Whether it's in the championship, some long playoff runs, whatever, we're gonna get it back, right?
Right.
I've seen it personally. They get it back every Sunday that they home because he's the reason that stadium is filled, right?
Prime time.
He's prime that, so it's yeah, that's a whole nother story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the longer it goes, the longer this draws out, the more and more concerned I'm getting about his future as a Baltimore Raven. And as you said to open this show, I'm usually one of the guys that see the brighter sides of things, right? And
Indeed.
and currently I don't. I mean, I've been, you know, a part of my job, daily job is to be involved in contract negotiations, right? Not on this type of level. So I don't want y'all thinking that I don't. I'm not negotiating $200+ million contracts, but I know how those situations can go, right? And I've left rooms feeling like it's obvious that this should be a part of whatever contract I'm dealing with, and they don't want to give it. So then I've left there feeling upset, hurt about it. Like, we gonna play this game. So I can imagine how he feeling, right?
Right.
He does a good job of holding it, keeping it away from folks, but I can imagine just how he's feeling. Um, so if it's starting to set in that he's feeling betrayed or feeling like they don't have his back or they not behind him or they don't think he's worth whatever he's asking for,
Mm-hmm.
I, that can only lead to you not wanting to be around, man. And I do think he loves this city.
Man, he loved Baltimore.
And he's embraced this town. We've talked about before how his videos of him just pulling up in the hood, and just
Right.
talking to kids.
Right.
Uh, um, OTR Quan, shout out to OTR Quan. His son went down to one of their practices. He signed something for his son. Like, he's just he's embraced this town, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
all about it. So I don't think it's that he wants to be out of here, but it becomes business, right? And then everybody wants to feel like they're wanted and they're valued. And
Mm-hmm.
the longer this goes, you can only start to feel like, yo, this team they don't value me. They don't think I'm their guy. So
Right.
he may want to leave. But as far as him as on the field, he gonna ball out. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
going to ball out, and I think either way, the Ravens are going to end up eating crow from this. Either
Fact.
by if they don't get this contract done before his cutoff date, they either gonna end up. Jose always says it. They either gonna end up paying him 60 million per because he gonna ball out, or they're
Mhm.
gonna end up losing a great piece that they may not ever get again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I can't think of many other times or players that we've had in this town on this team that had the type of impact that he's had. Right?
Mhm.
Especially, I'll say this, especially at the skill positions. Right?
Right.
Of course, we had great defensive players around here. Great
Mhm.
offensive linemen, but the skill guys, it's not many of them that's been through here. So you're gonna lose that if you keep playing around. But as far as him as a player, I think this dude is going to, especially this year. I think Lamar, he hears everything that's being said.
He does.
I think he's going to take everything personal, whether it's from this contract, whether it's from what people saying in the media. And I think he's going to ball out. I think he's going to continue to be one of the better quarterbacks,
Facts.
not players, one of the better
Quarterback.
quarterbacks in this league.
Right. So before I address this, I just want to address this comment right here. So I've Horace Torres says, but Lamar said himself he is fine with the wide receivers we have. How can y'all overrule what Lamar want? Now, just off this comment alone, what is Lamar supposed to say? Is he
Right.
supposed to get up in front of the media and do what the Ravens do to him and throw them under the bus and be like, oh no, these are subpar. Go get me him. Go get me them. You know what Lamar does? Lamar sends out tweets to DK like, yo, bruh, you fit what we doing over here. He doesn't like
Mm-hmm.
that. He's not going to come out and say, like we all know, and I'm pretty sure that you know, Lamar does not like James Urban, the quarterback coach, nor does he like Greg Roman. But when he gets in that press conference, yeah, I rock with Roman. That's my OC. I don't want nobody else. What else is he supposed to say?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's professional. He's not like these other people that try to throw others under the bus. He does his moves in silence, like he's supposed to do. Now,
Yeah.
as far as his future goes, listen, I it would hurt me to my core, but I think Lamar's gone. I think mentally he's gone. There are two things that an athlete desires most. I mean, that athletes have to have. One is their confidence. All athletes have to have their confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And two, they have to be wanted. No matter how big, fast, strong, talented they are, for some reason, with that insecurity, they want to be wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar just wants to be appreciated for what he does, and he's not appreciated. We don't appreciate him as a team. Sometimes I don't think we appreciate him as a fan base
Mm-hmm.
because this man puts this team on his back. Say what y'all want to about last season, that 8-3 record. You can neg me, comment all you want. That 8-3 record last year had nothing to do with John Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it did, he'd have won a game after Lamar went out. It's all Lamar. He does everything. We ask him to do less. He says, I don't like the system that you're running. We continue to run the system. He said, look, it's some things going on with this offensive line and these receivers I ain't vibing with. Y'all do nothing. Or
Mm-hmm.
you go out here and sign a $15 million tackle who actually was a backup last year in New York that people really don't know. See, that's why Jose always says you got to watch other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Moses was a backup till Becton got hurt last year. So we paid $15 million for a backup tackle. Now we think we good. I want Linderbaum. I like Linderbaum, but he still is a rookie center. We don't know what's going on with Stanley. Like we don't give Lamar enough around him. We don't appreciate him enough. And I can say for certainty, I know that a lot of people want to say, you don't know what the Ravens offered him. I don't know what the Ravens offered him, but I guarantee you it wasn't enough. Because
Clearly,
if it was, he'd have accepted it.
he decided.
And I keep telling y'all, there's one thing that the Ravens do that the Ravens pride or love to possess more than anything on earth, and that's draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't tell me when Lamar's price gets up to $60 million and somebody else is offering first round picks, the Ravens aren't going to jump on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's listen, to address, first of all, to address the comment, right? Lamar is unquestionable. Lamar is an ultimate. He's an ultimate teammate, right? Like he loves who he plays with. I don't think he feels like they are the problems, but you can never have enough talent, right? You can
Except
never have enough talent.
except for Baltimore on offense.
Yeah,
We can go out and pay 200 million for a secondary, but if we ask you to get one more receiver, it's like,
we don't
bruh,
have it.
Devontae Parker, he'd have cost us a 5th-round pick. I don't know what you want.
Right, right. It's just it's ridiculous. At the end of the day, it's ridiculous. I don't think he has. Um, the- look, you at the end of the day, you pay him whether you think that you should or not. Pay him, right? I don't like. It's happened before. Someone in the comments had mentioned what happened with Flacco. We were forced to do that. We were forced to because he bet on himself. The Ravens were playing with him.
Yep.
Instead of signing him what he was asking for, oh, that was too much. But you know what? That didn't double that he won the championship. And then you were stuck with that contract for how long? But it's the game. It's just what it's a part of the game. It's a part of the business, right?
Right.
But I agree with you. You know, everybody wants to feel wanted, especially in those type of situations, especially when he sees his counterparts getting paid. People that's played the same position as him and hasn't accomplished as much as he has, getting
Or,
paid.
or didn't even play last year.
Or didn't even get paid. I mean play. But and you don't and there's some type of hold up. And then to say that, we don't know what they offered him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I feel like if it what we know it's not what he asked for, right?
Or
We know
close.
it's not that because he would have signed it. But two, there's enough insiders out here that get this information, and it's enough word out here that's saying they're lowballing him or they're not offering him anywhere near what these other contracts are coming in as. It to me, typically, right? It's usually what they call the domino effect, right? Oh, Dak signed. Okay, I'm waiting for Dak to sign. Oh, he signed. Okay, now I'm gonna sign my contract. Oh, okay. Now that let's skip to Deshaun signs. Okay, Deshaun signs. So now college people was waiting on that. Now college signed, right? So you have base points to go off of, right? Like there's a baseline right there. Okay, he's getting 47 and some change per. Okay, we got to start there.
Right.
We right there. It can't go any lower than that. But I want 50. It's just what it is. Like so again, I feel like there's a lot of people that's making excuses for the organization, right?
Yep.
It's not. I don't think Lamar is holding up this situation. I don't think he's holding. I think he really wants it to be done, but I 100% am behind him on waiting till he gets what he feels like he deserves. No doubt.
Yep. So look. So you just had me thinking. You said they did this kind of same thing with Flacco,
Hmm.
and he bet on himself, and it got me to thinking. What happened with Flacco was they didn't believe in him.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, if you think you're worth some money, go out there and do something. And this is history repeating itself. They're
Mhm.
telling us, I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. I don't. And listen, y'all don't want to hear it, but the Ravens don't want Lamar to get his shine because they know what they would have to pay him. They know what they would have to pay him. Let's see, you put DeAndre Hopkins and Stephon Diggs, two players that we could have gotten. We could have gotten both of them. I don't care what y'all say. We could have gotten both receivers. You put them in our offense and hire Sean McVay clone.
Hmm.
How good do you think Lamar could be? And they know this. They know that he's going to get that. He would escalate his play, and he would be up there with the Tom Brady's as far as MVP runners with the Aaron Rodgers, and they would have to pay him that money. They don't want to pay him that money because he doesn't play defense.
Hmm.
Now, as far as the Greg Roman comments, at first when I heard it, y'all know I was a little enraged. Like I got mad. Like I said, I don't get mad, but I got mad. I'm like, oh, really? You of all people, you are the last person to speak. But then, I heard some other people speak on it. And I think that's one problem as Ravens fans that we don't do. We don't listen to other people's perspectives. We have
Hmm.
our own perspective and think, I'm right. I'm right. I don't care what you got to say. And I was listening to him and I calmed down a little bit. And in hearing it, I would say I don't think it was meant as bad as people took it, but you should not have put it out there to be perceived anyway in the first place. I have a saying: a snake's going to be a snake, but a leader's going to lead.
Hmm.
And apparently, Greg Roman isn't a leader because he should have known better. I know you're trying to save your job. I know you're trying to take all the heat off of you. But in reality, aside from per se Hollywood Brown, who are they going to let go first? You or Lamar?
Hmm. Hmm. It's so. What was his comment? Said something about
Pretty
uh,
much Lamar's throwing a lot better in this camp. So now I
right,
can I
right,
can essentially call different plays.
right. So listen, I mean, I can see how sometimes comments are taken, you know, out of context, right? But then you put yourself in certain situations where your comment can only be taken but so many ways, right? Like you know, me and my wife, if we're having a tiff, right? We
Hmm.
don't fight. We have tiffs, you know, for all the people watching. But if we're not agreeing on something,
Right.
right? I always say to her, yo, how many ways can you mean that? It's only so many meanings that you could that shut the f up can mean, right? You can,
And
you know what I'm saying?
it
Like
wasn't
that
said
can,
with love.
right? It can only be, but you know, so it's like when you put yourself in a situation where people can only take so many things, so take it so many ways, you know, you kind of put your foot in your mouth, and then you speak on being a leader, right? Most coaches, right, no matter the heat, their number one thing is to protect their players, right? Whether I don't care what your situation is, right? You don't never paint. You already know in the media that your quarterback is already being painted into a box,
Yep.
right? He's the most scrutinized MVP I've ever seen in my life, right?
Yep.
So you don't go in there and even halfway, the inkling, put any more of that on your quarterback. Like you say what you got to say. Hey, Lamar's looking great, man. He's spinning it really good, blah, blah, blah. But you don't add any more to that man's plate. And I think you just have to watch what you're saying. I mean, again, am I upset with it? Not really, right? I
Hmm.
just think that I mean he is looking good. Everyone's saying it, right?
He
He's looking
is.
he's spinning the ball really well.
Right. He looked real
Um,
good.
but I just think that you got to be careful in those type of positions and what you're saying in that pressure that you or the heat that you may be putting on some of your players, especially a scrutinized player like him.
All
You
right.
you have to you have some things you have to carry with kid gloves. But he is the last one that needs to be talking about his playbook because I did see that it's like 20% of the playbook. Like what?
It's
You should have
brand
been
new.
opening. Yeah, you need to and only 20%
Right.
because what we
Right.
see, it seems like you were only running 5% of the playbook.
Hmm.
When you get in certain situations, I don't care what it is, you got to open that thing up, and that's what he doesn't do. It'll work for a couple of weeks, and then other teams will catch on to it, and then he just doesn't adjust.
Right.
And so like Sip to Tally Phil's like that vault, open the vault that vault that he has that vaunted vault that he has, like open that, man, like do something. But that I was more upset with that comment than him talking about how he was
To the
spinning the
ball.
ball,
Yeah.
because it's just like, wait, so you did not just say something about your playbook at 20%, like, bro, your playbook has been in question for the last 2 years. So, yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about your playbook.
I wish.
I ain't mad about that. Him saying Lamar looked good, whatever. But
I wish.
fix that playbook.
I wish I still had a copy of his playbook. I had a copy of it. It was a purple diary with the little lock on it. Yeah, I had his playbook. Now, I just want to listen. I want to address it. I'm not gonna keep going back, but I'm gonna address this. So, of course, John never fired anybody. He hired his friends, and he had to fire old boy Cam Cameron because we weren't doing anything and he was about to be fired. So it's more about self-preservation than believing in your quarterback. No, he did not believe in Joe. He believed enough that Joe kept his job stable for a little while, because if that were the case, we wouldn't have got rid of Anquan Bolden. And to be honest with you, they didn't do enough for Joe either. As far as offensive coordinators go, they
Yeah.
did not play to Joe Flacco's strengths. And once again, the similarities between Joe and Lamar is when most of the time when they run that no huddle fast paced system, they do a lot better. But yet and still, John Harbaugh brought in coordinators to run the West Coast offense for Joe
Mhm.
Flacco. That wasn't his strength until Kubiak came in and showed you, listen, I can get the most out of him. They showed you, look, this is what he does well, and this is how we succeed. But John Harbaugh, being John Harbaugh, said, you know what? I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm gonna bring in who I want to bring in. And the team went downhill from there. So that's the belief he had in his quarterback, all those playoffless seasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, it's all about my issue with the Ravens is about, especially speaking on Lamar, is paying. Like, go back and think of how they've handled contract situations. Just
Mm-hmm.
think of, like, when have they just outright, maybe once or twice that I can think of, but when, and I'm talking about their main stars, when have they just outright, no conversation, yo, it's nothing to even talk about here. This what we're gonna give you. They even let the greatest player in this organization's history test the market.
Free agent. Yep.
So it's just a flawed way. We don't pay. We let all of our guys walk, right? Even if you even if you go back to somebody like CJ Mosley, right? CJ Mosley was dying. That dude was damn near crying at BWI Airport, waiting for a call from the Ravens. He wanted to be here,
Yep.
right? Now, he he could do players outprice themselves? Sure. But yo,
Mm-hmm.
does that mean that you don't, because you paying a couple extra dollars, and when I say dollars, I'm relative, but because you paying a couple extra dollars to keep a player, it's just what listen. I just don't. That has to change. It has to change, and it's just the way they handle business, the way they keep their players. And it's always the player that you're like, they don't mind re-signing, like, you know that third, fourth, fifth guy. Yeah, we gonna give you. We will give you that. We gonna give you this contract. But
Right.
your main guy, I can't think of a time. I really can't think of a time. I maybe Ronnie Stanley. That's the one name that's coming in mind. But I don't even know how that contract situation went. If it was just clear cut, they signed him, or
No, that
did
was him and Humphrey. Those
him
were,
and Hufford?
and
Right.
that's because EDC was brand new, and he was trying to make a statement as far as being a general manager.
Yeah. Like, but it's, again, man. Like, I would have paid Lamar. I'd have been paid Lamar. I'd have gave Lamar the Mike Trout treatment. You know what? We gonna throw that, whatever rookie, whatever deal you on. Listen, bro, we throwing that away. Okay, I need you
Yeah.
here for as long as I can keep you here. And that's just, some players, it's just different, man. They don't show to do it. They don't show. They don't show. They keep staying in the same mode, and I don't like that. Yeah,
It's,
like, we let Ray Lewis test the market.
it shouldn't have been no way.
And we lucky Ray Lewis say, you know what? I'm out.
I'm
I,
spiteful.
I'm Ray Lewis. You already know what I do for this team.
Facts.
So it's those things that you got to get away from. And I don't know what's gonna change that culture. I don't know if it's ownership. I can't tell if it's ownership or if it's just the way that front office gets down. But something's got to change.
it's
Something's
it,
got to change.
it's the front office, and unbeknownst to a lot of people, John Harbaugh has more power than a lot of people know. Like a lot of people think that he's just the head coach. No, he in essence outranks EDC. Like people don't realize the power struggle that's going on. So we can't put everything on EDC because his hands are kind of tied. And just like with the cap restraint situation, why is it that we drafted Ben Mason, right?
Hmm.
We cut Ben Mason. We brought Ben Mason back. But people don't realize he has a dead cap hit. Now, granted, it's only like $138,000, but it's still a dead cap hit. And that's
Right.
why a lot of times we don't have money. Instead of going out and signing somebody that we could have used, we brought in Alejandro Villanueva. Now
Hmm.
he's retired. He still has a $3.5 million dead cap hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's what is one of the Bens? Which Ben is not here anymore? Not Powers, the
Uh,
other one, Bredesen, Ben Bredesen.
right. Yeah.
We still got like a $300,000 dead cap hit for him. This is why a lot of times we don't have money because we keep bringing in these people that we don't keep, and we send them elsewhere, and that dead cap is hindering us. Now, also, yes, Bredesen. Also, I hate to say it, and to me it was a good move, but you paid $70 million for not even the best safety on the free agent market.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They always do that one splashy signing to somebody that doesn't deserve it. They
Mm-hmm.
always give money to somebody that you like, what? So Derek Wolf got hurt, but we're gonna sign him to an extension. That's kind of like the Dennis Pitta thing. He get hurt, we sign him to an extension. He don't play anymore. We got to keep eating that dead money, and that's why we don't have money to sign free agents at time, except for the lower tier garbage that they bring in.
It's. I also always say in the Discord that we are the brokest non-spending money team that I know. Right? I just don't. I don't get it. Like you watch teams spend like crazy. You look at teams like the Rams and in horrible cap situations, the Saints in horrible cap, but they find a way out of it. I just don't understand how we just we're that guy that plays everything by the rules. And I ain't saying that you go out here and you cheat, but there's always ins and outs and ways around certain things, and other people are doing it right in your face. And you know what? It's leading to championships, right?
Mike, Mike, Mike. I'm sorry to cut you off, but Mike, the Saints were $76 million over the cap start of free agency.
Yeah.
Free agency started, they had $30 million in cap space.
Amazing, right?
And people say it's not sustainable. That's the thing with Ravens fans. It's not sustainable. We don't want to do that. But since 2011, the Saints have more wins than we do,
Yeah.
more playoff victories than we do. But they do it their way and we do it our way. My
What
thing
they mean
is,
by not sustainable? Like winning championships? Because the
yeah,
rent is that not sustainable? Because from what I see, they brought everybody back and then signed
and
some
they
more. Then
and
then
then
they got better.
and then they got back. So listen, they paying Matt Stafford elite QB money, and they're still paying Jared Goff,
Yeah.
and still went out and signed some players and re-signed Cooper Cup and re-signed Aaron Donald and
And then
signed Allen Robinson.
brought in Allen Robinson, right? Like so, and then hold up, the guy that we wanted, Bobby Wagner, who we thought we were gonna get, they found money to get him too.
Facts.
So I don't know what not sustainable means. To me, that looks like a reload. Hey, we're gonna do this again, and then we'll worry about that part of it later.
But
Like,
they have two of the last four Super Bowls.
hey, man, I listen. I just don't know. We're caught behind the ages of things, and we're gonna get left behind. And like you said, I hate to say it, but I'm not as confident as Lamar being the mainstay. When we took Lamar, and then when Lamar balled out, he has MVP year. I'm like, man, we got our quarterback for the next umpteen years.
Yep.
I'm not real confident in that right now, and it's sad to say, but it's just I don't get it. You look at they restructured Marlon Humphrey, right, to give him more money, right. They had a very easy way to get more cap space. Give your quarterback the money that he needs. That would have cleared some of that 23 million up off the cap that you got to pay him now. You could have stretched it any kind of way that you need to. You'd have had a lot of space to deal with.
Right.
But you'd rather do that than just to. I, I listen. I don't want your listeners to feel like I'm just a damn.
So let's
Listen. I'm a good. I like you said. I always look on the bright side, but I'm a realist as well, and I just don't feel confident in where this franchise is going with things like with things in how it's currently being moved forward. It's a scary time for me right now.
Mike, this is a safe space. My people, listen, my people's already think that I'm negative and I think the worst of this team. I had one dude hit me up in the comments one time and was like, bruh, I love your content, but you depress me so much. I'm just gonna have to unsubscribe and stop watching you. It's like it ain't for everybody. But for my channel, I just want somewhere to be able to speak the truth. And that's the whole reason that I got into YouTube anyway, is because I got tired of everybody with the sunshine and the rainbows. Like we could trade Lamar Jackson tomorrow and all the Ravens fans be like, good, we ain't need to pay him all that money anyway.
Yeah.
Like earlier this morning in the spaces, they turning on Hollywood Brown. Dude was like, yeah, Hollywood is our only consistent performer in the playoffs. And dude was like, yeah, but them 3 drops in Detroit. What does those 3 drops in Detroit have to do with dude showing out in the playoffs? Like we turn on people soon as they leave. And just so I just want this to be a space. You speak your mind. If you don't like it, cool. If you like it, I love it.
Yeah. It's like to that guy that left that comment, right? It's a perfect example of like our fan base not wanting to accept reality, right? And that's a problem because you only end up getting hurt by it at the end of the day. If you don't accept the reality of this situation,
Right.
at the end of the day, you're gonna be pissed off and you're gonna turn on Lamar if he leaves, right?
Facts. Yes.
Then you're gonna blame him for a situation that's clearly like, hey, I want to be here. Hey, I'm showing signs. Hey, I don't want to go out into the media and blast y'all out, but listen, I'm gonna post this picture of me saying I need my money. I'm gonna throw little pop shots. I'm gonna say
Bruh.
the right thing, but I'm gonna throw little pop shots. It's clear that this man wants to sign this deal, and it's
Bruh.
clear it's not going the right way. So
Bruh. He's listen, this dude is walking through the hood.
yeah,
I grew up in the hood and I will never go back. I will never go back. And this dude is just chilling like, yo, what's up, y'all?
yep,
Let's go get some Popeyes.
yep,
He's
yep.
showing you this is where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next up, I would like to know which player you are looking forward to seeing this season.
I got 3.
Okay.
One is so 1A and 1B. I'm now we go to the Discord again, right? In the beginning, doing the rookie camps and the mini camps and all of that.
Right.
I was saying like, people started speaking about Will Likely. I mean, damn, not Will Likely. Isaiah Likely. I'm thinking about Will Likely
Yeah. Yeah.
from Maryland.
Right. Right.
But they were saying, man, he's showing flashes, and I was like, looks like a 2.0 of my man that's in Pittsburgh now.
Which one?
Wide receiver.
Johnson, Pickens, Austin.
No, he left us. It's signed with Pittsburgh.
Oh, Boykins.
Boykins. I said, oh man, it looks like 2.0 Boykin to me, right? And like people was like, oh man, that's a low blow, Mike. And I'm like, I'm just saying, I ain't feeling it, but
Right.
he has consistently showed, right, through this offseason that he's he might be a player. So he's moved up on my list, right?
Okay.
So I'm really interested in seeing what he can do. Tyler Beatty, I want to see what he can do. I it's something about him, and I didn't get to ask you how he looked out there.
He looked good.
The other day,
He
but
looked good.
I think that he can be, I think that he could be an asset to this team. So I want to see him, and then Travis Jones. I got the young boys on team that I want to see.
Listen, I'm not. No. I'm not mad at that. It's just. Okay. I can take hype where it's warranted,
Mm-hmm.
and I can understand projections, and you want people to do well. But I've heard several people say, "Oh my gosh, Travis Jones, man, we got 4 first-round picks." No, bruh, he was taken in the 3rd round. I don't give a
Mm-hmm.
damn what somebody ranked him as. If he
Right.
was a first-round pick and slipped, he'd have went in the 2nd round. But he went in the 3rd. So don't tell me we got 4 first-round picks. I know I sound like a hater, but
No,
come on, bruh.
I get it, but I think when you say it like that, I think that diminishes, what it could possibly be. Like I think that takes away from actually taking away from it being a steal, right? Because I think it actually puts more, you put more pressure on, or put more expectation on him if you call him a first round pick. But if you're looking at it and saying, hey, this if he balls out and you say, yo, we got this dude in the 3rd round, yo, that's a steal. I'm not expecting now. When I say I want to see what these dudes can do, it's just strictly that. I'm not
Right.
expecting them to be, uh, I'm not putting those type of expectations on them to be like day one starters. I don't expect Travis Jones to have 18 and a half sacks. I kind of put that on Owe last year. He didn't meet my expectations of 15 and a half, but you know but I just want to see. I just want to see what they, because I mean I do remember Travis Jones from college, and and,
Mhm.
and I thought that he could play. So I do want to see if it translate. Um, you know, Likely I just feel like he can cover up some of the stink on that wide receiver group. So I do want to see if he lives up to it. And yeah, and then Beatty, I just feel we got some injuries there, right? So I just think that he's quick twitch enough to maybe be an asset for Lamar. So that's it. But I'm not putting 1,000 yard
Oh no.
expectations on him or nothing. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. We
Yeah.
we this fan base is quick to do something like that.
Facts.
Oh man, we got Ben Mason, right? Ben Mason was supposed to be he's supposed to be that guy, right? You
Supposed to
know,
be.
we got Ben Cleveland. Oh man, that's a steal. Ben Cleveland was rated the first round pick.
He can't even
We,
pass his conditioning
we
test.
don't know if he's gonna practice yet. We just don't know. So I don't know. This fan base tends to do that a lot, but I want to see if we got anything in these young cats that's
Mhm.
going. I mean, I think the obvious answer is right. You want to see what these wide receivers are going to do, right?
Right.
I think as an entire, mostly, I'm gonna say 90% of the fan base is really focused on what they're going to do, right? Because you got two sides of that story. You got either one side, which is us, that's saying like, man, we just don't, we ain't feeling it, and then you got the other side that's saying, man, they just need a chance, right?
Right.
But everybody's looking at them to see what they can do. So I think that was the obvious answer. But yeah, those three is I'll keep a close eye on. Um, going forward. But I don't think any of the answers, anything could be wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It's,
Jose saying Linderbaum and Falele, like, yeah, because especially Falele, like, if he pans out, then that's a good thing to have, good situation to have.
yeah, it is. So I guess going on what you said, I'll pick three myself. Um, First player that I picked that I'm looking forward to seeing this season is going to be Patrick Queen.
Okay.
Is this going to be another year of, oh, we need to give him one more year? He young. If we bring in this all-star player, he's going to be better. Or is he going to finally live up to that first round expectation? Because one way or another, next year is going to be his last year as a Raven. Either he's not going to play up to par or he's going to price himself out because we just don't pay linebackers.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can see that.
my second player that I'm going to look forward to seeing is going to be, I guess I'm going to go with Rashad Bateman.
Okay.
He was out there eating yesterday. Like, Bateman might be that dude.
So that's what that's what I wanted to ask you. Is he showing enough, or did he show you enough that he can be a one, that he could be a true wide receiver one, not just a one that's holding that place, but a wide receiver one.
Uh,
He was
Davon, there was no catch, bruh. I had one person in mind, but since he did three, I did three. But Bateman, can he be a one? Most definitely,
okay.
most definitely. Even going into that draft, you know, a lot of people wanted us to take Marshall,
Mm-hmm.
and at first I was looking, I was like, hey, Marshall, he look all right. But then I saw Bateman, I was like, nah, that's that dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it was one practice that I saw live, but seeing him in person and seeing the way that he was working cornerbacks, he can be that one. He can be that guy that we need. Now he does have to work on drops. He does kind of have some concentration issues.
Mm-hmm.
He drops here and there. It's nothing. It's nothing real big, but I think he can be, but I think I need to see preseason. Um, he was going against Ravens cornerback, so
Right, right.
and it was, it was just a light practice, so it's hard to say, but I think he has all the skills and the tools to be a number one. I definitely know that it's going to be Andrews and Bateman. Like those are Lamar's first two reads every time. Like you could see it in practice. Some things never change. Him and Andrews, like I don't care what happened or what it was. He's going to Andrews. He's looking for Bateman. Bateman made some tough catches. He ran some good routes, and yeah, I think he's going to be that. So
I hope so.
nobody said our guys are not good
Nah,
enough.
because
We said that we don't know what they can bring. And Lamar is too good of a player to what if him, to let's wait and see. Let's find out later on.
well,
But
so let me ask Torres a question, right? I recognize Torres, man.
yes,
Shout out to my man. But so let me ask you this: why didn't Prochet, and I'm listen again? I hope that they do ball out, but why didn't they grab hold of opportunity like last year? Like when you had old Sammy Watkins and those type of players. Like, you know, I just feel like since Prochet's been here, there's been nothing but space and opportunity for him and Duvernay. I don't just want to pick on him. I just think that there's been space and opportunity for them to stay claim on one of those spots to get consistent playing time, and they haven't. So, like, why, in your opinion, Torres, why do you think that hasn't happened, or you just think they didn't get the opportunity to do so? I think they did, but what's your thoughts on that?
and that's the thing. Like they have an opportunity every day that they practice. Now, either they can't play or the coaching can't see talent.
Yeah.
And I know Bradley is probably sitting over there laughing his butt off right now, but against Denver, Prochet had a good game. Now a lot of people say that's because they left him wide open because they knew he wasn't fast enough to go nowhere. But he's I mean he still did his thing though, and they healthy scratched him for a lot of games. Like they
Okay.
healthy scratched him
I,
for many games.
I listen. I'm willing to take that. Maybe I missed something. I just feel like because there wasn't really like A1 talent above them going into camp, that I feel like they really was, if they really was out there killing it, it would have stuck out. Like it just would have been a situation where you can't deny them from playing because look, they're just the better guys out here. But if I'm wrong on that, I can accept that, and I will keep a close eye on that situation. I just don't think they've done enough, in opportunity to make it, obvious that they're the guys that deserve that time. But either way, no matter how I feel or anybody else feel, their time is now. They have it now. So we're going to see one way or another of what's going to happen out there for them. But
And I got a question for you, Mike, and Taurus. Um, and when we drafted Hayden Hurst in the first round and Mark Andrews in the third, didn't the third rounder play better than the first rounder, and that's why he stayed on the team?
yeah,
He got his opportunity and he took it, capitalized on it, and moved on.
hmm
And you can't tell me that they're not doing the same thing with the wide receivers. I mean, come on now. Said they spent money in capital on Sammy. He was going to play.
yeah. But and then okay, so I agree with this.
Right.
But why did they have to do it? You see what I'm saying? Like it was a reason that they spent that capital on Sammy, right? Like they went out and gave him that money. They felt the need to do it. Is my point, right? If you have it in place, if you had it already here, then Sammy is a signing that you didn't have to make. It's just is my point. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it always, for the most part, comes down to talent and production. The NFL is all about talent and production. And I'm not saying that these guys aren't talented. I'm not saying that they haven't been put in unfair situations because who the hell wants to run block 82% of the time?
Yeah.
Nobody does. But I mean, if they really can play and they really want to be here, they'll show. They'll show improve. Like, listen, you've had for the last couple of years two All Pro corners on your team. And if I constantly and consistently beat them in practice, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to get on the field because I'm showing you against all pros I can't be stopped. That's
That,
all I'm saying.
so that again, that's my whole point. I see Sip the Tally saying y'all got no. I'm legit asking you a question. It ain't about having it or not. I'm giving my opinion, and I'm very interested in what your thoughts on it are. Again, like my man Davon is saying, that there's I understand the politics of it. My whole point is what led to the signing. You didn't have to sign like you, Sammy wasn't a signing. It wasn't somebody that you must sign, right? So like if you had players in place, right, or if the players here were killing it to where you wouldn't have to spend that 5 minutes on I mean that 5 million on Sammy, then we wouldn't have, or again, maybe it could be coaching, right? Maybe the coaches, because what I'm taking from this is that maybe the coaches aren't getting the best out of the players that was here already. My whole point is I'm just going off of what happened, right? We signed Sammy Watkins to a $5 million deal, right? Of course he's going to get on the field, but I'm talking about before and you agree. I agree with you. He wasn't Roman's system, right? I agree, but again, why make the signing if you didn't have to? I agree why they wanted him and why they picked why he was a fit here because he knew the system, but why make the signing if we didn't need it?
So you're saying if we had the talent here already, why go outside of the building and bring somebody in? And like
especially a signing like that. Now, if you go and sign somebody else that you know is going to make an impact on this team, then I ain't gonna argue that. You see what I'm saying? So if again, if it wasn't a need signing because we got the players here, then why make the signing? Now now that leads me to what you were saying. Well, maybe the coaches haven't given these guys either the opportunity or haven't gotten the best out of these guys. Because I'm not it wasn't a signing that was going to make a change or a difference either way, is my point.
right.
So if it wasn't a need because we had the talent here, then why spend that 5 million?
And we could
Now
use
I
that
get
5 million elsewhere.
right, and I get what happens after you spend the 5 million. Of course, you spent the 5 million. He got to play. I get it. I'm not arguing that side of it. I got you, but
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna get to my third player that I'm looking forward to this season. And that is going to be David Ojabo.
Okay.
Oh, so apparently I'm hitting you with some people that you didn't think I was going to say.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, I want to see the dude play because, apparently all last year, we need to get Ojabo. We need to get Ojabo, pair him with OA. We're going to have Bruce Smith and Reggie White on both sides, just rushing the quarterback. I hope so, but I'm more interested in seeing Ojabo play because we could have had George Pickens, and he is over there killing in Pittsburgh camp. We could have had we could have had Steve Smith Jr. Now, you can say the boy crazy. You can say he has some issues. I like that, though, because we need that on his team. For years, we have not played like Ravens. We soft. We help people up. We let people stomp on our logo, talk to our coach any kind of way. We don't have Raven type players. And I guarantee you, this kid, somebody in his family was born in Baltimore City because he got that attitude. Somebody from his family was born in Baltimore City and they raised that boy. He got something wrong with him. And we just need that type of player on our team just for the intimidation factor. Now, I know back months ago, y'all used to always joke me about liking Prochet. And, I root for Prochet. I want the dude to succeed. I want him to stay on the team and do a lot of stuff because a lot of people didn't see that Prochet was rubbing off on other players. In the beginning of last season, Hollywood was fighting for that extra yard. Hollywood wasn't being brought down by that first guy. And that's all because of that attitude Prochet brought. Prochet's like, listen, I may not be the most talented, but I'm gonna be a leader because you can't take a dude that's third, fourth, fifth string, just like in the press conference. He's up there with Bateman. Bateman, like, yo, he got this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He got this. He's leading us. Yesterday, I was filming him. He broke down the wide receivers. He was talking to him. So I just think that bringing in a George Pickens would kind of uplift that wide receiver room, no matter their talent level. He'll have them outperforming their normal capabilities. And for that reason, that's why I'm looking for David Ajabo this season to be somebody to do something, because George Pickens could have helped Lamar Jackson this season.
Yeah, I look. It's not. It's, you never. You can never go wrong with having a player with a little bit of an edge or an attitude with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. I was high on George Pickens. I was hoping that we would get him. I definitely didn't want Pittsburgh to get him. Anywhere else could have had him, but definitely didn't want Pittsburgh to get him.
And Calvin Austin.
Yeah, but I agree. Ojobo is a good one because listen, all signs were pointing towards us drafting him at 14 before he got hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good chance he would have been a Raven at that point, regardless. So taking him in the second round, I wasn't mad at the pick outside of the point that you proven though, like that we could have had Pickens there. But I feel like it's a move that, in a sense, low risk, high reward if he can get healthy and become the player that he was projected to be. So it's just what we'll see and when we will get a chance to see it, because one, he's still not signed, right?
The only one.
Right. And then two, it's just you don't want to rush that back. Let him get his time together and let him be able to get healthy, fully healthy before they put him back out there. But yeah, I mean,
Hey, Mike.
it's one of those moves that could pay off dividends, and then or we could be back here at the end of the season saying we could have had Pickens in that spot.
Hey,
So
hey, Mike. What if I told you that all the players the Ravens had on their draft board, Pickens was not on it?
I'm not surprised. For some reason, we shy away from players that have so-called character issues.
Yeah, we
Um,
did.
after the Ray Rice situation, we kind of shied away from that. But I'm not surprised he wasn't there. Um, I'm disappointed, but not surprised.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah. I don't know if you were inviting us, but
Right.
or if it was just them two. But hey, whatever. Yeah, listen, round tables are always good because, like I said, it's good to see other people's perspective.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to change my mind, but you can always open people up to seeing this is where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
This is why I think like that. So if you're talking to me and Mike and Rodney and Jose, cool. If I'm not involved, I'm still cool. I'll watch whatever. Just
Yeah. Listen, I respect everyone's opinion. Right. It's I've been enlightened today. Right. I'm
right.
I'm 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 gonna look at this Prochet and this Duvernay situation at a different lens. Right. I'm gonna look at it as they weren't given the opportunity, but now they have it. So I'm gonna look at it that way to see if I just have a different look or outlook on certain situations where I'm used to. I'll say this: I'm used to that day and age where you always had at least one player that shocked everybody, right?
Yep.
In camp, expectations were low. Wasn't expecting to do nothing, but he came into camp and he just killed it, right? And then that forced his way on the field. Like these teams, you know what? Yo, we can't deny what this dude is doing. We got a plan. And that's just how I looked at this situation with the wide receivers here, you know. But it could very well
Hold on.
be that they played well and they just didn't get that opportunity. So
Thanks. All right. So what question mark or question marks do you have entering this season?
I mean, the obvious wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
O line. I do think the O line has gotten better than it was last year, but I still think it's a question mark um, from all the points that you said earlier in the show.
Right.
The biggest question mark is for me is Lamar's situation. It's no question in my mind that I think Lamar is going to ball out Um, but I am in question if this team is going to handle this situation the right way, and that's my biggest worry. That's my biggest concern right now. You get him signed in, that'll take a lot of my concern off of my shoulders, and I think the rest of it will fall in place hopefully. But I think
Right.
he's good enough to make things fall into place that shouldn't. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I think those are. Oh, and then always you can replace a blow type of you can't. That's my brother Suge right there. But and then always linebacker. I
Mhm.
we haven't had a linebacker in a few years. I mean, and I like Queen. I
We
think
got Patrick
Queen.
Queen. What are you talking about?
Well, I like Queen, but I think Queen needs.
Forget about it.
I think we need a play like
Maker,
see I don't
playmaker.
yeah, but I think Queen was playing a little bit out of position, and when they switched him up, he played better.
Okay, Mike. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm had to stop you right there. And that's what everybody says. And listen, I can't say that I'm not. I don't hate Queen. I'm not. I kind of was a fan in the beginning at LSU, but for people to say a first round pick played better, but not playing first roundish is not a compliment. Now I get it, and with a lot of people, Kamale Correa, Matt Elam, the Ravens play people out of position. I give them that, but he's had a season at another position. He still struggles with tackling. He still struggles with the mental part of the game. Physically, he's got it.
He's
I've seen
gifted.
that dude. I've seen that dude see a play, react. He's there.
He's good. He's gifted with that. Yes.
But mentally, he's not there. People talk about you not being able to tackle, and I still see him shoulder tackle. He doesn't wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that he's playing better is not necessarily a compliment.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, when you draft somebody that high, there's just a certain expectation level that you have, right? I do think playing him out of position, and then putting, a lot was put on him. And again, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but to beat it, to have a green dot on his helmet and things like that. I think it was
Too much for
just.
a rookie.
I
Too
think it was
much.
just too much for him, right?
I'm not gonna say that, Johnny. I'm not gonna say he's just not.
Well, Queen just not
I'm
in.
not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far.
I think in the right. I think in the right system. I think Queen. I think he would be a 10-year, 12-year pro.
But Mike, isn't that a problem that we keep talking about our players in the right system?
It is.
We
It
keep
is.
saying this person would be really good in the right system.
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to us staying in not being not adjusting. Well, I'll say that,
Right.
right? We don't adjust. We like to stay into what we so called know, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you got other teams, right? Now most of the time, like, don't get me wrong, if you lose a coordinator, somebody on your staff moves up, right?
True.
And typically everybody on your staff is, they run in the same system that you run. But then you get cases where, hey, we're bringing in an outside coordinator who has his own, he has his own system that he runs, and
Right.
he wants to switch up. Um, we don't tend to look for those type of hires. Sometimes change is good. Sometimes you just need a different, and I think we pigeonhole ourselves in staying in the same type of system and schemes, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it can be a problem if you move a player and they thrive in a different system. But I can't say he's not an NFL player. Uh,
He is.
is he going to be the All Pro Ray Lewis guy that they wanted him to be? Nah, he's not going to be that, and that's asking a lot of anybody to be. But this year, obviously, is going to say a lot about him, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's a big year for him. We'll see, but I agree. At the end of the day, whether he plays All Pro level or not, will he price himself out? You know
He's
what I'm
going.
saying? Will he not get paid here? And that's what it. In end of the day, that's what it all boils down to. No matter how well he plays,
Patrick Queen is going to be another Edgerton Hartwell. Point
got
blank.
that big money.
Decent with the Ravens. Go somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So Suge asked the question. Suge says, would you say Lamar is the biggest question mark going into the season if he hasn't signed? He is not the biggest question mark. And I think he would take it personally if we tagged him. He's not worth a 1 year deal. He's a franchise quarterback worth long term generational wealth. So yeah, I mean, I know I would take it personally.
I think his situation is a question mark. I don't think he is a question mark. I think not signing him, is a problem.
Right.
And it's that's not a player per se problem. That's just a organizational problem that or question mark that is going to loom over this team no matter what because the media is not going to let this thing go. So just imagine, right? Right now he's saying they in talks right now.
Right.
Um, we're still talking. He believes a deal will get done, but then he's saying he has a cutoff point, right? So let's say a deal doesn't get done, we reach that, we reach that cutoff point, so no more talk. Then that's just going to spawn a whole nother conversation surrounding this team. So it creates a question mark over top of this, over top of the organization, over top of the season. It's going to be, should Lamar have gotten paid? Let Lamar get off to a start like he started last year. Kill it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the front runners for the early MVP.
Yep.
It's gonna even put that cloud over top of this team even more. Yo, Lamar's balling out. Lamar's playing like an MVP again. The Ravens ain't paid him yet. What's going to happen with that? It's just that's going to continue to be a question mark until they get it done.
You know what's going to happen, Mike? The same thing that happened to Hollywood Brown. They figured his numbers was getting too high, so all they started doing was throwing him screens. when Hollywood, listen, if you watch that second half of the season, when Hollywood numbers started creeping up, they started using him a lot different. And don't tell me it was Huntley.
Bubble screens.
Yeah, don't tell me it was Huntley because it wasn't Huntley.
Look,
they're gonna sabotage him so they don't have to pay him as much.
This is what I want Lamar to do too, and this could be out of line, right? This could be out of line, but I think Lamar, I think he's earned this right. I want Lamar to go out there, and I want Lamar to start. If he's not feeling the play, I want him to start checking out a place.
Right.
It's OTR_Mike. I want him. I want him to start doing that. Like, go ahead. I ain't feeling that play or waving off a play. Nope. I'm gonna run what I want to run.
But see, that's part of the issue. We get to the line with so little time on the clock. Lamar can't audible. Like they call the play in so late that we're at 10 seconds. And by the time they get lined up, it's 3 seconds left. He doesn't even have time to survey the field to say, you know what, I'm going to switch to something else.
Yeah.
So, but as we saw in the playoffs, especially against the Chargers and the Titans in 18 and 19, Lamar looked and was like, yo, buck what you doing. Buck all that. Like, I'm running what I want to run.
I gotta make plays,
and that's why we came back. That's why he had 500 yards because he started running the plays that he wanted. But I mean, so
it's the same thing, Shug. If he balls out and if he doesn't ball out and he doesn't play well, it's still going to be, oh, good thing the Ravens didn't sign him. It's still going to be something surrounding this contract, Either way. Either way, to me, my opinion, the best of the situation, just to get it done and you ride with it, right? You can't talk about the contract no more. Either the next thing will be, oh, he didn't deserve it, so what? You'll get over that. You know what I mean? But it's going to be a thing that looms over this. It's going to loom over it. And then again, the narrative can be, Suge, if he doesn't play well, oh, could he be worried about his contract? Oh, could the contract situation be affecting him? It's just going to be something. They're going to find a way to spin it either way.
True. Now that was my take as far as question marks going into the season. So let me pivot to one of my biggest question marks is the beginning of the season. Our early season schedule. We have the AFC East.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people keep saying to me, like, bruh, what you drinking, what you smoking, what you doing? Because I keep telling people there is a high probability we lose to the Jets. And I'm going to keep telling y'all this. And they keep saying, well, the Jets are the Jets and they got Zach Wilson. And that's fine. And they're building a team over there. But my biggest concern with the Ravens going into the season is with all of the injuries last year, we are not going to play our starters in the preseason. we are not going to get they're not going to get that chance to gel, get the
Mm-hmm.
timing right. So essentially the first two games is going to be preseason for our first team offense.
Mm-hmm.
And you trying to get this together at the start of a season, it's not going to work. So that's why I think that schedule is going to be daunting to us. That is my biggest question mark, because after the Jets, what we got the Dolphins, and we saw
You
what
know they give us problems.
you saw what the Dolphins did without
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean, what we got? Who else we got? We got Buffalo and the Patriots. We got the Patriots, then Buffalo, I think.
yeah. It's listen. The Jets got better this offseason, right? But the main thing about week one games, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one game that you get the most time to prepare for, right?
Right.
Because you know who you playing week one. So once you can start preparing for they can start preparing for the Ravens right now. You know, they could break down the Ravens more than they could break down any team because like coach is saying, it's no film.
Right.
So it's the time where it can be an even matchup. It's going to be as even as it can be because there's nothing on tape. Nobody knows what's going on, what they're going to come out. You know, we all know in the preseason they show little shells of what their
Vanilla. Right.
playbook. Yeah. So it's that. You know, you can't 100% prepare, but you can focus in
Right.
on, okay, we playing the Ravens week one, let's do what we can do, you know, to see to whatever we got to do. But it's week one. It's as even as the matchups can be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just think back to previous years with the Ravens. That year that we started in I think, was it the first year that Lamar started, where I think week
19,
one
19
when
against
we
Miami.
went to Miami, right? Everybody was questioning, Lamar ain't look great. He can't throw the ball. We get to Miami and he airing that joint out. You know, and him and Hollywood taking
Showing out.
they showed out. They taking the top off the roof. They balling out. So it's just it's the unknown, right? Going to week one. You don't know what they got going on over there. You know what I'm saying? And they don't know what we got going on over here. So very well could start this season 0-1, 0-2.
But
So
you know what there is film on, Mike?
what?
The
Incredible.
2019 Baltimore Ravens,
Yeah. I mean,
the 2012 San Francisco 49ers,
and,
2014 Buffalo Bills.
yeah, and there's tape on. There's also knowledge of that. Our offense kind of stays in the
Re, re,
same kind of,
recycles plays. He
yeah.
recycles his playbook, like he doesn't change anything. But like I said, they have film on 2019. That's why when everybody says, "Hey, we're going back to 2019," the only reason it was so successful is because they never saw it before. They haven't seen it. They didn't know how to prepare for it
Mm-hmm.
until the playoffs.
Yeah.
Once they got a little film on it, we saw what happened. So now you have a season's worth of plays, and that's whatever. So
Yeah. One of a couple of things happen in situations like this. You know, that 20% that Jose's talking about, that 20% will be showed in week one. So then we won't have nothing left in the tank. We won't have nothing left. We won't have nothing left for the rest of the season,
yeah,
and then we'll just keep recycling that 20%, and that's we'll look great week one, right? Now
yep,
that doesn't mean that we of course we can lose, but I think that vault will be a wide open week one, and I think that's a problem as well. You'll give them little bits and pieces, but for those that just think that it's just the Jets, just go look in years past in other situations, not just the Ravens.
mm-hmm.
Look at other situations of teams that were heavily favored to win a week one game that you think, and it turned out the other way.
Just beat the Bengals. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hmm?
Just beat the Bengals. That was in last year with a rookie QB. But he didn't know that. But Johnny Williams wants to know what we should do with our players, PUP players. Leave them. Leave them. Like if they aren't 100% healthy, leave them out. I don't care if Ronnie Stanley is like, I'm good, I feel better. If he cannot pass the test that says he's 100%, leave him. I
Yeah.
don't. They do us better playing 10 to 13 games than they do sitting out a whole nother season.
Yeah, you can't rush them back. And it's just got to be the Ravens as an organization. They have to have a real, and I think that I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt this year. I think that they will handle a lot of these situations with kid gloves. Um, I think they know they rushed Ronnie back last year, and
Okay.
I don't think they want to. I don't think they want to do that again. I would hope they wouldn't want to. So yeah, if any of those players aren't ready, you gotta keep them out.
Thanks. Thanks. So I just I want to say something before I get to this next segment. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I want to thank everybody for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate everything that you do. And this not doesn't directly go to you out there. This goes out to others. As Ravens fans, we have to do better. We have to do better supporting these Ravens content creators. And I don't necessarily mean myself, I mean everybody else. Because I sit back and I watch other places. Like I watch the Jets. I watch all the Jets, the Bills. I watch all of their YouTubers just to see what their team has going on. And when I tell you, they have tens of thousands of fans pumping their team up. And then I go to creators that I like and I admire and I see, oh, 600 people. Wow. Like I'm just asking if we all can do better as Ravens fans to kind of support one another. Like that's my only thing. But this is my favorite part right here. Like the Ravens part was cool. You know, I was good with it. But this is just one question that I want. This is the reason I brought this man on for real, for real. This is why I had him on the show for real, for real. I just need to know. Off the record
Off the
podcast.
record podcast.
Listen, I got friends and family like, yo, it's some dope content. Like them do it's barbershop talk. Like they talk, they have good points. Like you have different personalities bringing it from every side. And it's just some good stuff. And unfortunately, when I got into it, I ain't had nothing left. So now I gotta go back and watch old stuff and be like, okay, I know what's happening now, but what's going on, bro?
So look, first of all, I appreciate anybody that's checking out the content, that has checked out the content. Um, like I appreciate it. I would suggest to those right now who, if you've ran out of content on the YouTube, we were fairly new to YouTube, but our audio version has a lot more episodes on there, a lot more things that we've talked about um, that is not. I'm not gonna say not normal, but you don't hear four black men discussing, right? From anything, we've touched about just about anything. So I suggest if you're into, it's a form of barbershop talk, but if you into hearing perspectives from four black men on anything from mental health to politics to uh, I mean anything, man. We touched on being fathers, just everything we touched on. If you into that, man, subscribe to the YouTube and go check our audio version out, man. We got a lot more on there. So to get into what we know, what you wanted to hear, I can't promise you a date of when it's gonna come back. Off the Record podcast was started about 2 years ago. We've been the one thing that you may or may not know. Like we've been lifelong friends. I've known these cats for 25, damn near 30 years, right? So regardless, it's always it's love, right? So it's no beef, right? There, we I'd be lying to say that we don't disagree with each other, right? Because we do.
Yeah.
I think that we have situations where, as far as the lane and the route we want the show to go through, I think that sometimes we do disagree on that, right?
Hold on. So is this an I'm athlete pivot type situation?
No, well, I was well. See, they don't like each other apparently.
They do. It's just about ego. You got football players and ego.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't. With that situation, I don't like how certain things
How they
that
do.
being said in the media. It's just like, all right,
Thanks.
look, we they making it seem like we ain't rocking with each other. It's not that, right?
Right.
We got a lot of things going on as well, personal with our personal lives, right?
Mhm.
Alex has a child on the way. Brandon will be getting married soon, and Quan, I'm not counting on him being soon as well. That's a little shot to him, but he knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
So we got a lot of that going on. Some of us are pivoting in our career moves. So it's just a lot going on with the fellas. And I don't know how many of y'all have been a part of a podcast with more than one person, but getting four people on the same page is a lot harder than you may think. Um, Ideally, I hope that we get it back. I've even talked about, even me running with it for a little bit until we get people, until everybody can get on the same page, or maybe two of us or three of us, whatever. If we can get it all together, then we will. Um, but then I just don't. I don't know. I struggle with that because I don't want it to. I don't want it to take away from what we had. Like, I think people tend to want to hear from all four of us. So I think, me running with it by myself, or me and Quan, or me and Brandon, it may take away from what people are expecting from the show. Now, with all of that said, we want to eventually bring it back. I
Okay.
can't. I can't promise that it will. Um, but you know, I hope that we do. I hope that that's not the last of off the record podcast. Because listen, people are asking. People are asking, like, yo, y'all ain't putting nothing out in this in months and
I-
this and that.
right.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot going on. But I just want everybody to know that there is not beef that uh, will affect the brotherhood that we have. I think
Right.
we do have some creative differences,
Of
right?
course. Of course.
We have some creative differences, and that happens when you putting on shows like this. Uh, well, I appreciate your confidence in it. We'll see, but it's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. At the end of the day, I was just with those dudes last weekend. So, we still hang tight. And I don't even bring up the podcast. None of us bring it up. It's
Of course.
just one of those things that we want. If it's going to come back, we want it to happen
Organic.
organically. But if it don't, I think that we put in some good work, and I think we put in good content. And I'm proud of what we did with Off the Record. And I like to say
Indeed.
the real Off the Record podcast.
The real.
It's another one out here. If he got a problem, we got lawyers. I just want him to know.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, but nah. In reality, if the last episode we did, if that's it, then I am happy with Off the Record and what we did with
It's not it, sir.
it.
It's not.
It make
No, 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 no,
it,
no. Look, Mike. So listen, I don't care if y'all agree to disagree. If it's all four of y'all, there has to be some iteration of off the record. Now, I don't know any better, so I'm gonna call you the leader. I'm gonna call you the leader of the crew.
mm-hmm.
Do what you got to do, bruh. And you can't tell me. And me, listen. I know how life can sometimes come at you, but you cannot tell me within a 2 to 3 month span, four brothers can't get together and sit down for 30 minutes and have a conversation.
I
Now,
agree.
it don't have to be a podcast. Like you said, you and the dudes, you and the fellas was just together.
Yeah,
If y'all can just sit down and record a conversation, it's good enough. It don't have to
I
be a
agree.
bunch of cameras. Y'all already doing it. Because I know y'all talking about the same stuff y'all would talk about on camera.
Yeah, and that's how the show started. It was kind of like, hey man, let's start recording this stuff, and we did it. And it never would have thought that it would have reached as many people. Me and Jose always talk about, like, hey, when LBHT first started and they had 20 views, they were like, yo, 20 people watched this. Oh my God. So it was the same with us. Oh, we got 6 downloads. Oh my God, 6 people downloaded this episode. So, I never would have thought it would have gotten to where it has. I never would have thought that I would have people such as yourself looking for it, and people asking, and people wanting more. So, we'll see. I hope I'm not gonna shut the door on it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna shut the door on it. But it's tough, man. It's tough when you got four cats. And then life is only growing for all of us. You know what I
Fact.
mean? Like, you know, I, like I said, Alex is going to be welcoming in a baby soon, and that we try to explain to him what that means. This is his
Mhm.
first, so he
Oh,
I think
ooh, ooh.
he got a different
Right,
thought of it, and it's like,
right.
bro, okay, I was the same way 3 years ago when I had my first. Like, hey,
Ooh, yeah.
it's gonna be it adds a whole different dynamic, so time is only gonna get thin for us, but Brandon getting married and stuff like that is just a lot going on. But if I had to bet on it, I think I would say we'll be back. We'll be back. Off the
Listen,
record in one way, we'll be back. We'll be back. I might have to get some of you guys to come on and co-host with me. Davon with the FTK,
yeah, F them kids, F them
yeah.
kids.
But I, I would bet that it'll be back in one way or
Right.
the other.
Now, engraving, I agree with you. It is really tough, especially when you're dealing with four separate lives. But I'm constantly reminded from other people and told that when you really want something, you make time for it.
Yeah.
And they're already in a room together. They're already hanging out together.
Mhm.
So you have time to be around each other. It's just
You,
that
you know what, Hendo? Like, I agree with you, right? I do. If you want something, you make time for it. I totally 100% agree with it. And it was,
all right,
you
coach.
know, it was. I was at the forefront of that. Like, yo, if I
Mhm.
can make time, yeah, we all can make time, right?
Truth.
I work a full-time job. I got a wife. I got kids. It just takes.
You got Ring Kings.
I got it now rankings. So it just it if you want it, like, yo, you got to do it. I don't want to hear any of that, especially from some of the things that I do to make sure I was available to record. Um, but when we get together, sometimes like after a while, right? So the first, I guess the first, you can even say the first year,
Right.
right? It's fun, right? Like, man, we just getting on there, we shooting the crap. I'll say the first 6 months, right? You shooting the crap, and it's just us being us. But then as your show starts to pick up steam and more people are into it, and more people, then you start getting people commenting and like, hey, like, so
I
now,
wasn't looking for that.
right? So now it becomes okay. Like, yo, we gotta put on a real show here, right? You know what I mean? Like, we gotta sit down and put together a real production here, so that we giving the people what they want. So then it becomes a job in a sense, right? So it's still us talking, but it's more of a structured conversation to make it better. You make it suit what the audience is asking for. So that then can change the dynamic of us just chilling
Mhm.
versus it being you know it being a structured show. Now maybe we need to get back to just the dynamic of us just chilling and recording. Um, so maybe that's where we went left. But you feel a certain pressure to put on a different put on a show and giving people what they want. And I agree with you in Graham. Never take the organic out of it, and that and 100%. Um, that ended up being. I think that we were always organic, but I think to when it comes down to it just ended up being all right, yo, we need topics, right? And when we get topics, it's like, okay, two of us want to talk about it, two of us don't. Three of us want to talk about it, one of us don't. So it's just you start dealing with that, right? And then it does change. It can change how organic a conversation could be if we all aren't on the same page with that. So it's just it's little slight things like that. I think that at the end of the day, when we put on a show, you know, you got the four of us, and you got us as who we are. If you guys were to come over my house and the four of us were here, you would get that, right?
Mhm.
Um, you would get that out of us. You would get the same that you got out of the show. But then it just becomes it kind of became it's work, and you all putting on shows too.
It
It's
is.
more than just cutting on a microphone or cutting on a camera, right? you know, it's more than that, and it takes time, and it takes work, and it takes effort. You know what I mean? And if we all can't be there,
Mesh.
yeah, if you all can't, we all can't meet there, uh, and be on the same page with that, it can cause change in the show, right? And I think that we all kind of burnt out too. I think that we just kind of hit that wall, and it just kind of came to a screeching halt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you know, it just is what it is. But um,
Listen. So listen, it brought
I
me.
don't. I feel like I sound like I'm rambling, but
No,
it
no, you
just.
good. But listen, Brodney can tell y'all better than anybody because I rant to Brodney a lot. Like I hate this. Like
Yeah.
I love making content. I love, having debates with people, seeing what they're saying. I love it. But it's times when I just sit back and I'm like, I don't want to do it. And
Yeah.
it's really sad for me because I broke my foot.
Mhm.
So I've been sitting at home for the last 6 months. So I literally had nothing else to do but make
Yeah.
content. And I'm still laying there like this. Not today.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
For some reason it's just taxing. But I just wanted to say for me, all four of you brothers not being on the same page, as far as thought process is what makes the show great.
Yeah.
Having all of these different views makes the show great because everybody intelligently explains their point,
Mhm.
right or wrong. They give a good reason. This is why I believe this. Now I just think that if y'all all came together wearing coaching attire, things would be a little bit different. Put on a coaching attire and everybody will come together.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like us having four different opinions it is what made the show what it was, right? And we all kept. You wasn't going to change our opinion, and I think that was the beautiful thing about it. But like to where we weren't on the same page is just like, you know, like you said, that outside part of like when you like, I really don't want to do this, right? Because you got to do it, and then you also thinking of the outside part, right? The
Mm-hmm.
promotion, right? The
Mm-hmm.
editing, the keep it, making sure that you keeping the name out there. That part of it that's the taxing part.
That
You know
is.
what I mean? And so it's just I think I think that we did burn ourselves out because we was going hard for a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and then it's just, creatively we just kind of got to a stale point where it was just like, all right, you know, this person want to take it there, this person want to take it this way. I was the one speaking for myself, and in all ways that all ideas for the show were all great. They were all
Right.
great ideas, but when you got four people pulling in four different directions, it's just, for speaking for myself, I wanted to move more to this platform. I was the one that kind of spearheaded, like, yo, let's jump on YouTube, right? And giving all credit to Jose and Brodney. Like, I seen them doing it and talking to them, and they would give me point like, yo, just move, try YouTube, do it this way, try that.
Same here.
And so that I was kind of more on that move. Let's try that, and then like we spoke offline where it was like, you hate eating. Well, I don't know if you want me to put that out to your listeners, but going live is a whole different beast,
Oh
right?
yeah, you listen. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. I hate going live. I hate this.
So going live is just a whole different beast. So then you
It
looking
is.
at, okay, Mike is excited. Let's go live. Let's go live. And then the fellas is like, all right, Mike, but I really just kind of wanted to chill this episode. And so it just kind of, it was more of that happening than typical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just different, being pulled different directions and different ideas of where we wanted to go. And we all kind of got away from that melting pot that we had. Like, all right, all the ideas is here. We all on the same page. And we all just started pulling other ways. And part of it is, I take a lot of that. I ain't gonna call it blame, right? But I take a lot of that because, I get excitable. I get excitable with this stuff, right?
Right.
And my fellas will tell you, uh, my co-host will tell you that, yo, Mike, you're the one who
Thank you.
kind of yeah, appreciate that, man. You you're the one that's kind of, you're the face of it. They would say they would tease me like, yo, you're the one that everybody knows
Yep, facts.
in the social media area. So, you know, I love this. I love being on shows. I love recording. I love, you know, creating content. So I get excited. And when I get excited, I want to go. Like, all right,
Yeah,
man, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. And you know, so part of that excitement or part of my excitement, you know, could have caused us to steer in different directions just because I was expecting, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. They're probably gonna agree with it. Yo, let's go this route. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And then when you add on top of, you know, what everybody else has going on outside of the show, it's just, all right, Mike, yo, we can't like, you know, like we can't pull that off right now, you know. And then that leads to me being like, come on, man, like, yo, let's just do it. So it's a lot of self checking, right,
hmm,
and a lot of understanding, you know, that hey, you might be in a different space creatively than everybody else, but you can't be upset that everybody that
not
you know
everybody
those
with you.
might not be there, right? Being full 100% full disclosure, like being Brandon, that's my best friend, that's my brother, right? You know, he's my best man. He was my best man in my wedding. Like that's my brother,
That's
right?
right.
But we went at it because we didn't creatively,
Agree.
we weren't on the same page, which then led to certain things being said, and then it just went to where us butting heads. Now it was never like, yo, I hate you, I don't want to see you ever again. But just for the show sake, it was like, yo, I'm done. You know, I did say that, yo, I'm done. You know, and it led to people feeling like, you know, I felt like I was putting in more work than everybody else, you know, because other people stepped, you know, they stepped back, and they stepped back for legit reason,
Right.
right? So that led to some of the discord as well. But it's just ultimately we all kind of Dave all called it the
The
pivot.
pivot.
But ultimately we all kind of just agreed that, yo, look, let's just take a step back, right? Let's take a
Hmm.
couple steps back. Let's wait and see how far it goes, and if it'll come back. But no matter what, if we bring it back, we want it to be brought back organically.
Facts. So, so look, I got two things. So I got two things to say. One, I understand 100% because even with this channel, it was supposed to be my brother and I.
Okay.
We were supposed to be doing a channel together. And in the past, I would just wait on other people to get stuff done. And something just said, well, pretty much Jose and Brady was just like, go do it.
Right.
Do your thing. So I did this channel. So then I was like, all right, my brother hit me up and was like, all right, we're gonna start another channel.
Mm-hmm.
This has been since January. So about a month and a half ago, he calls me and he's like, Lo, what do you think about this merchandise? And I'm like, merchandise? We don't have a page, a channel, a show.
Right.
What are you talking about? So as soon as he said it, I go in, make the channel up, put a couple videos on, get a couple subscribers, do a couple things. It's been 5 weeks. I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
So I understand when you like, yo, you're close, the closest people to you, they not on your same page and
Yeah.
they don't want to do what you want to do. So
It, it's different. It's just it's not even like it's you get like you on a different level with it probably than him, right? And then you look at it from different lenses. Like I think the core idea is the same, right? You're on the same
mhm,
page, and I think that's what it is with us. Like the core of it, we're on the same page. We know we got to put this content out here, and we know that ultimately we have a good thing, right? But where it goes, where it can go left is just like what you described, right? You know that hey, we gotta slow walk it, right? So let's start with getting the page. And then you got him that want to jump to merchandise, and that might not be a bad idea, but it's just not. You know what I'm saying? It's just that we don't agree with that. So
100% facts,
from over
100% facts.
yeah, but so it's just it's one of the toughest things like to the podcasters that, and I get this question from solo podcasters all the time. The one thing, even since Off the Record has stopped, Like I've been getting invited on shows left and right, and I appreciate it. So I still been working, right?
Right.
And that's one of the questions I get a lot is from solo podcasters. Is like, yo, how did y'all do it with 4 people? And I was like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough because you're dealing with just 4 different personalities because we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
4 different ideas. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? It's a lot of work into just dealing with 4 people. I mean, being completely transparent, like we leaned on. So our mentor with this was Alex, because Alex had a podcast called Lake Central, and it took off and it was doing well. So we followed behind his lead, like, and quite honestly, to start off, like, yo, it wasn't fair to him because he was doing Lake Central, and then we were doing our show, and he was editing and uploading and doing all of that for his show and our show.
Right.
And then I said, yo, you gotta show me. It's not fair to you. You gotta show me how to do this so that I can do it and take this off of you, right? Then I started doing it, right? Then it was like, then Brandon, yo, you gotta show me how to edit, yo. So, or I'm gonna figure out how to edit so that I can take it off of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, but then it transfers to like, all right, Brandon's editing more than I am, or I'm editing more than Brandon, or I'm promoting more than anybody, or I'm the only one promoting, or it's just, and you got to check yourself, right? Because it happens. It's just what's going to happen whether you're working with friends, family, or people that
Whomever.
you don't know.
Right.
Somebody's going to feel like they putting in more work than the other, right? And I wasn't. The thing about me, I wasn't, boasting. Like I wasn't out there saying, "Yo, I'm doing everything,"
Because
right?
we don't care. We just want it to get done, regardless of
Right.
who does what. We just want it out there.
Right. But then, we had certain conversations, and then when we got, a little testy with each other, certain things were said. And that's the petty that Jose's talking about. Well, I was like, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't editing nothing. I ain't promoting nothing. I ain't doing nothing. You know what I
Right.
mean? But at the end of the day, we all circled back, and it was just like, all right, yo, we put in a lot of work. And it's a lot of it takes it's this is why I do addition
Exactly.
program, right?
Exactly.
But we put in a lot of work. But yo, let's just step back and let's just see where it goes. And that's where we are at the moment, man.
Okay. So my question is, remember Robotech?
Yeah,
Now, I'm not talking about the Robotech that these kids know. I'm talking about the Robotech from the 80s. Now, there was a version of Robotech where, just like Voltron, they came together and they
yeah,
formed this big giant robot. But they also could come together and form smaller robots.
yeah,
So just like that, off the record, you could have different factions come together, and in one episode, we get everybody.
yeah.
I'm just,
It's
I'm just saying.
trust me, it's crossed my mind. I talk about it with Zay and B often because I'm working with them now on Ring King's podcast. If you haven't subscribed, please go over there and subscribe.
Please do.
It's only the best boxing podcast out. Anyway,
100% facts.
um, we talk a lot about these type of things, and
Yes.
they've helped me with ideas. They've pitched ideas. Yo, won't you just do it this way, or won't you, let's do it. And I just I'm afraid it ain't gonna feel right. You know what I'm saying? So it's
But you
been
won't know.
those.
You won't know that until you try.
And you're exactly right, and that's the struggle. That's kind of how rankings came about, right? The struggle was, okay, I know I want to do something. I know I want to be podcasting. I don't know which route I want to go, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I want to start, a little faction, a fraction part of off the record and kind of spin it off into, OTRMike's version, or keep the off the record brand going, and then kind of do it, spin it in that way. Have guests, 2 of us on at a time, 3, and if all 4 of us can get there, then we there. Or if I just want,
Look at Drew Hill. Groups do it all the time, bro. They break up. They take the name, and whoever come together, they come together
they come
because of.
together, and then I'm like, well, do I want to start something else? And Jose was like, well, if it's one thing you want to do, what would you do? And I was just like, I've been really thinking about boxing. And he said, say less. Let's do it.
Come on.
He hit Bree up. And then, next thing you know, we on the 3-way call. And it's like, all right, let's figure out a name. Let's do this and let's do that. And so that's kind of how Rain Kings came about. While in the midst of me trying to figure out what I want to do, um, whether it's solo tip or whether the fellas are going to come together. But I want it to be, end of the day, if I move on with off the record, just me, I need their blessing. I
Of
need them
course,
to
most
say
definitely.
like, "Yo, go ahead and take it." Um, Otherwise, I expect the four of us to be in front of y'all at some point in time. So
So this
it's
is my
it's in the works.
so this is my plea to the other gentlemen of Off the Record podcast. Please come back. Like y'all don't understand how important this really is. I'm sitting here talking with Mike, but I'm sitting here as a fan myself, listening to him. We are over 2 hours in,
Yeah.
and y'all listen to us talk because it's organic. And this man just love. He just got this calming voice. He just has this presence about him. Like, fellas, like, come on, whatever you need to do. Like, I'm not gonna have much time soon, but if I can help y'all or whatever I need to do, we need it back, bro. We need it back.
Hey, I'm gonna make sure they see this. I'm gonna make sure they see this. Nah, but we listen. Anybody that's checked us out, look, man, we really, really appreciate it. We really, really do. And hopefully, again, man, we can get it popping for y'all again. We just want it. We don't want to just give y'all anything, right? We
Right.
want it to
Of course.
be make sure it's us, 100%. Make sure it's us that's re-energized, and make sure that we want to give y'all, what we was giving y'all before, what y'all enjoyed, and um, I'm not gonna read that comment. I'm not gonna read that comment, but
I'm
I
not even
just
gonna put it up.
I want to make sure that we giving y'all what y'all need, man, and that's only the best. So at least I got a voice that could be. What do you say?
Oh, I'm
That could
sorry.
make me a
Yeah,
Ravens
Ravens
fan.
fan.
Hey, my brother should again, but yeah, man, it's we just want to give. We don't want to half step it at the end of the day.
I got you. I
And
got
everybody that's in here that is content creators. I see Engraven. I see
you.
Sip the Tally. I see B and Jose. I know Davon was doing something like it's Suge. We all know that it takes some work to do this, and at the end of the day, no matter the work, you want to get the best that you can, and that's what we want to do. So if it's not going to be that, I can speak for all four of us in saying that we ain't gonna put it. We not just gonna put anything out there. So we got to be enthused about it. And I think you know, knowing knowing the three of them as long as I've known them, um, you know, I know it's gonna be a point in time where they get that itch. Like Quan has gotten it already.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, it'll come soon. You know what I mean? Alex, I'm sure he'll even get that itch too. Like, hey man, I need something to do. Alex gonna be in the house soon when that baby comes, so he gonna have nothing but
And
time.
nothing but time, right?
So it's that itch will come, and then it's gonna be coming back together like the five heartbeats, man. We just go ahead to we'll make something up. We'll make it happen. But
Might take that cookout.
yeah,
Might take the
yeah,
cookout at the end.
yeah, yeah. That's all
Yeah,
we owe.
yeah.
Let's just hope we ain't old with Kings
That's
by the
you.
time that it.
All right, facts, facts, facts.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you asking that though.
Not a problem, because that was the whole point of me bringing you on, because I just wanted to know. All right, let's move into extra innings. We are coming up on the end of the show. So this is the point of the show that the people in the chat we can talk about anything you want. Mike, we can talk about anything you want. But first, I just have a question for everybody out there. And that question is, are you smarter than a YouTuber? Because if you are, I still have a couple slots left in my fantasy football league. So if it's so, you join the Patreon, you can come in, see
Wait,
if you
I'm a
can.
Patreon. Why I ain't get invited, bro?
You are in a league. You signed up already, Mike.
Did I?
Yes.
See, this why I can't have off the record. I don't know what's going on. Okay, all right. I apologize. I didn't
So
know I said that. All right,
yeah,
good.
so you sign up to the Patreon. We have the fantasy football, some spots left. We got the pick'ems, which is going to go a little bit different than some other pick'em.
My trophy over there. I can't go over there. My
Bruh,
trophy over there.
that's a whole nother show, bruh.
I know.
A whole
I
nother
just want
time.
people to know that I can. This is what I do. I win championships and these type things. That's all I'm saying.
I can't take that from you. So if you want to be down, just hit up the Patreon, be a part of that. Be in the Discord. You can be in the Discord. Like this is what we do over at Lunch Break Hot Take. We had these conversations. We talk smack. I literally swear most of us be on there 24 hours a day. Like it's 3,
Easy.
4 in the morning. We having conversations, but you all can sign up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I would like to extend an invitation out because I'm horribly bad at inviting people to stuff. And if you want to be on the show, my guys, you already know. Just let me know when. Davon, Suge, Engraven, Jose, Brodney, whomever, Ferris, Wheezy, just the whole crew. Like anytime, you welcome. I'm down for it. I'm just bad at this invitation stuff. Only reason I did it last night is because of that video. So y'all let me know. So like I said, Mike, extra innings, bruh. Anything you want to discuss? The floor is yours.
Man, shoot, and that 45 minutes on off the record. I don't know. I don't know if I have anything.
You can talk about rankings.
Oh,
You can plug rankings.
well, listen. I already said the best boxing podcast in the game. If you haven't subscribed to Ring Kings podcast, please do so. It's me, myself, Jose and Brodney, the brothers at Lunch Break Hot Take. We formed together and we have created a great show with great boxing content. Listen, even if you're not a boxing fan, you don't know much about boxing, we're still the channel for you because we have segments that teach you about up and coming prospects. We have segments that's about to drop that we call sparring sessions that'll teach you about certain aspects of boxing that can be confusing, even confusing to some of us who are lifelong fans. So
Thanks.
we're where you want to be if you want your boxing fix. So Ring Kings podcast, check us out, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your audio side of things. Suge said, what about UFC? I made a bet with people once we get 100 subscribers, I will watch UFC. And if you paying attention to the Discord, I was in there commenting. I watched last night. This is 2 main events that I've checked out, so I'm getting in there with that.
Hey Mike, don't forget about Up Next.
What's that?
Don't y'all do it Up? Who's next? Up and coming boxers?
That's the watch list. Yeah, we do the watch list.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. We teach you about people that boxers that you may not know of. We make it easy for you. We created a watch list. Hey, you looking for a boxer to follow? Here's a guy, or 2, or 100 that we'll have coming soon that you pay attention to, and that can possibly be your new favorite boxer. So yeah, check out Ring Kings podcast.
Okay, well, I guess we are going to end the show. Last thoughts.
Somebody said plug your Patreon, Hendo.
Isn't that what I just did when I said about the fantasy football? I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm always in the LBAC Discord anyway. So, but if you want to come through patreon.com/ROUG, come through, have some good conversations, get into this fantasy football league, this Pick'ems league, and some more things coming in the future. Also, I think I may come out with a video later today. I'm not sure, but I know before the season starts, I am going to have my 1,000 sub giveaway. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but just note that is coming. And I appreciate you, Mike, for being here for me today and always, because you are the glue that keeps us all together.
I don't like that pressure, Hendo. You always putting that type of, you either saying that I got one of the better fantasy leagues, better fantasy teams in the LBHT fantasy.
You do.
I do not.
You do.
And you're saying I'm the glue. That's a lot of pressure.
Okay. This is pressure. Suge has 1,000 questions of things that I've told him 1,000 times. I've even asked Suge to come on the show. He don't want to do it. But he goes and starts to show with somebody else talking about. You know what? I'm not even gonna get into that.
Sugar is funny. That is a hilarious guy.
If y'all don't know, which most of y'all should already know, Sugar's a Steelers fan, but he loves Ravens content, Ravens spaces. He loves the Baltimore Ravens. He can't get enough because every time I turn around, he's there.
But no, Hendo, I appreciate you having me on, man. I already told you whenever. You was like, you asked yesterday. I thought you were asking if Ring Kings was going to stream. So
that's what I was asking you. That's
oh, okay.
The first, so in the regular Discord, that's what I was asking you. But when I messaged you, I was asking you about this.
Oh, okay, yeah, man. Listen, anytime. You already know, and I appreciate you having me on for sure.
Indeed, but you welcome back anytime. So we are going to sign off, everybody. Remember, don't give into conformity. And like Captain Chesapeake says, be somebody important. Be yourself.
You know what they say when they see us? They point at us and say, those are bad guys. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they want to go eat, then you know I'm gonna feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite.
I got to talk, I gotta tell what I feel.